Now start over.
Okay.
Can you see through all that flowers?
To begin with, this was April of 1954. I think it was April. Anyway, it was spring of 54. And to begin with, it was not called Castle Bravo. That's what the computer says. That's what books will tell you. It was not called Castle Bravo. It was Operation Castle, and the name of the detonation was Bravo. And lately they've combined the two, but it was Operation Castle, and the Bravo was the detonation. Anyway, I was on this LST, and what this LST did was go back and forth from Anahuac and Bikini, because Anahuac was a much larger island, and it had long enough island for an airstrip, and all the supplies came into Anahuac, and we would have to take the supplies over to Bikini because Bikini was such a small island. And so we were all asleep this Sunday morning, and they passed the word, go to your station, all the special sea and anchor detail. And we all knew, everybody knew, that meant you were getting underway. And we thought, what in the world are we getting underway on a Sunday for? And then later we found out, a little later, here comes this big, huge semi-truck flatbed with this great big thing on the back of it, which probably was the bomb, and Marines guard with machine guns to the ready. And we thought, what in the hell is this? I mean, Marines with machine guns. There were, I think 6, maybe there were 8, but I'm sure there were 6 Marines. And then the captain passed the word on board ship, attention all hands, no one under any circumstances is allowed on the tank deck. The tank deck was the first deck below the main deck. And they said nobody under any circumstances is allowed on the tank deck. And everybody knew if the captain, well, the captain doesn't always pass the word. The captain always gives that detail to somebody else, but this was the captain, and we know this was very important. So we got underway, and Bikini and Anahuac are about 180 nautical miles apart, and it takes the best part of a solid day just to get there, 180 miles, because our flag speed was about 11 knots. And so we took this thing, whatever we thought it was, on board our ship, and we went on straight to Bikini, and it was a routine landing. What our LST would do is it was a flat bottom ship, and it would get a running start, and it would drop. It had what we call a stern anchor. That meant the anchor, instead of coming out at the nose of the ship, it would come out the back of the ship, and we dropped the stern anchor, and then get up full speed and run up as far as we could run up on the beach. Then we drop the bow doors and let whatever we had on the tank deck roll out right onto the beach. And it was a darn good idea. Whoever invented the LST was a very smart man. And it worked all the time. I mean, you know, in Normandy, it was great. But anyway, we the truck unloaded from the ship, and then the captain passed the word. If anybody wants to go on Bikini and get anything on the island, get it and bring it on board ship. We were the only LST in the Navy to have a Jeep, because there was a Jeep over there, and these guys got the Jeep and brought it on board ship. Okay. Well, see, we had the tank deck open, and we could just drive it right up on the tank deck. We got a semi-truck full of beer, and it was formaldehyde beer. It had a funny taste, but it was still beer, and we had a truckload of beer. For, I think our complement was about 110 men or something like that, which a complement is how many people you have on board. And we had about 110, including officers. And so then we took this thing over to Bikini, and we offloaded it, And they said, get anything you want. And they said, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. If you want it, bring it on board and we'll take it back to Anahuac. So we did. And we.
Did you get anything?
Huh?
Did you get anything?
No. I mean, I didn't see anything I particularly wanted. Didn't some of my guys want, but see, this was an army contingent of men, maybe 40 or 50, and that's all we did was take them supplies that they needed. And so when they were through, they came on board ship and vacated out. Now, Bikini, you can see Bikini on the map in my bedroom that I've got. It's got a little dot and it says Bikini. Bikini isn't anymore. Now, they'll lie to you all day long. And they'll tell you you're mistaken, you're too old, you can't remember. By God, I'm old, but I can sure remember. Bikini is not anymore, but that's later.
Mm-hmm.
We got on board, went back to Anahuac, and just went about our daily routine up there. And then, now I don't remember how many days later it was. It wasn't about a week later or so. It wasn't that long, less than a month. And they told us that, I mean, you can't hide a nuclear explosion. I mean, there's no way. So they told us, they passed the word. They said, in the morning, this was on the day before, in the morning, there's going to be a nuclear explosion to our, let's see, we were west of Bikini, so Bikini was east of us. So they said, look toward the east and you may see the flash of light. And so that morning we all got up and went up on the top deck, the main deck, and started looking toward the east and nothing. And it was early in the morning because it was still dark. And it was I think it was in April. And so we went on top deck and nothing happened. I think the time passed. And we thought, well, we missed it. It was just a little bitty flash and we didn't see anything. So we started going back down to breakfast. And all of a sudden, boom, broad daylight. Now this was 180 miles. That's from Memphis to Nashville. And it was broad daylight and straight toward us like a welder's torch. It was so bright. The sky was solid bright. And as far behind us as you could see, it was red. The entire, as far as we were concerned, our world was bright. I mean, everything was just bright. At 180 miles. My God, that was the thing. Anyway, it turned out it was, instead of being 20 megatons, somebody made a mistake and it was 40 megatons. And it was called Bravo. And after the flash, it finally died out. After about 10 seconds, it got back dark again. So we all went down to breakfast, and of course, the topic of conversation, everybody was just jabbering about the bomb. And all of a sudden, boom! It sounded like Paul Bunyan hit the side of a ship with a hammer, because the shock wave at 180 miles had finally gotten to the ship, and it probably knocked the ship 2 or 3 feet sideways, just straight sideways in the water. And then after the shock wave passed, that was about the end of everything. But that's, of course, that was a topic of conversation until after that. This was maybe 2 or 3 days later. We started sailing again toward Bikini because they wanted to assess the damage. And so we got to Bikini, and I was on the throttle. That's how come I was on the bridge. I was an electrician, and I was on the throttle. The ship was diesel electric, and the electric motors were run by a throttle. And I was on the throttle, and I heard everything the captain would say. And on the ship, every time the captain says anything, it doesn't matter what he says, it's recorded. It's recorded in a book by somebody, the yeoman, I guess. And the captain called to the lookout, said starboard lookout, report. And they said, no land, Captain. And he said, port lookout report. They said, no land, Captain. And he called Harvey, our quartermaster in the Navy. A quartermaster doesn't give out clothes like he does in the Army. A quartermaster in the Navy is a navigator. And so he called Chief Harvey, who was the chief navigator. He said, Harvey, what's our position? Harvey says, Captain, we're on station. On station means we're where we're supposed to be at this time of day. And Captain said, we're on station. He said, you're sure, Harvey? And Harvey, he was a really sharp guy. And he said, yes, sir, I'm sure. We are on station. And the captain said, well, where in the hell is Bikini? And I never heard an enlisted man speak to an officer like this. He said, Captain, I guess we blew the damn thing up. And that's what they did. That nuclear explosion called Bravo, not Castle Bravo, but Bravo, that explosion blew the island of Bikini up, and it doesn't exist anymore. Now, they're going to lie to you and tell you, oh, yeah, it's out there, it's here. But if you went by there, you would see that there's no Bravo, no Bikini anymore. And as a footnote here, on the way to and from Bikini, there was a shipwreck up on the island, and the name of the shipwreck, I'll never forget, is called Nickajack Trail. And that was on the stern of the ship. They put the name of the ship on the back. And that was on the back of that ship. And we saw it every time we went to Bikini. But that's a true story. That's a true story. And
That's cool.
it is. It would make a damn good show.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, if they would, but see, they don't dare print the truth. That was, what was that, 50 years ago? That was 1954. 64, 74, 84, 94, 04, 14, 26 years ago. 26.
66.
66 years ago.
Wow.
And they still can't tell you the truth.
Uh-huh.
And they may never. Or maybe they don't know the truth. Because I was on the throttle. I was teaching some guy the throttle. I think his name was Pizzuti. And I was teaching him the throttle, so he was up there. The captain was up there, and the quartermaster and the two lookouts, they weren't actually on the bridge. They were outside where they could see. But there were not but about 6 or 8 people on the bridge of the ship.
Wow.
And, but that's what Harvey told Captain. Captain said, where in the hell is Bikini? And it's not like we're going someplace strange or anything. It's like you going to Kroger or something. You go down there the next day and Kroger's gone. You say, where in the hell is the Kroger?
Right.
Captains, and there was nothing. There was nothing but mild water. The water in around Bikini, it was in I think it was some lagoon. I don't remember the name of the lagoon.
There's something.
But anyway,
there's something I'm thinking about that I wanted you.
Do what?
There's something I'm thinking about that I wanted you to tell her.
What? Go ahead.
Okay, about when the captain had you wash the deck.
Oh, well, that's incidental.
No, it isn't. He wanted him to wash the deck to get rid of the
radioactivity.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
wow,
that's
the
not
fallout.
That's good. That's good. We after we went back to Anahuac, our ship broke our starboard shaft. LSD has twin shafts and screws, and our ship broke the starboard shaft. So we got permission to return to the States. And our flank speed was about 4 knots. That's about what you walk. That's about walking. And we started on I think it was probably at least 3,000 miles back to the States, to Long Beach. I think we went to Long Beach, I don't remember. But we started back to the state, and we were making about 3 knots. And that's our flank speed because we had a broken starboard shaft. And a fallout cloud had caught up with the ship. The wind had blown the fallout cloud to catch up with the ship, and the fallout had gone all over the ship. And everywhere, of course, we had lots of Geiger counters. I mean, everybody had a Geiger counter because we wanted to count the Roentgens. And it was all over the ship. I mean, the Geiger counter would go, it sounded like machine guns.
Wow.
And that means it was a hot ship. And so our captain, our really sharp captain, he knew that water would wash the radiation off. You could just wash it off your ship. And so he ordered the ship washed off fore and aft, not thinking that if the fallout fell on a ship, it also fell on the water. And he washed the entire ship down with contaminated water. And we glowed like a bulb all the way to Pearl. When we got to Pearl Harbor, the whoever was in charge, the harbor master or something, he wouldn't even let us in the harbor. We were so hot. They put us on what they call Pier 7. Pier 7 means it was 7 piers up the thing from the main harbor for Pearl Harbor. And we were hot as a firecracker, and they had people monitoring us as we got off the ship.
Wow.
And when we got to Pearl Harbor, the first announcement that came off of the ship, all hands stand up to the quarterdeck for milk. We hadn't had milk in, 2 or 3 years. And they said, all hands stand up to the quarterdeck for milk. We went up there and they just had boxes and boxes and boxes. They were in boxes at that time. I don't know why. But we all got fresh milk. Because,
What would that do?
Yeah.
Just so y'all could have it, or did it do something?
Do what?
What did the milk do? Or it was just a treat?
We hadn't had milk for a year. We had powdered milk.
Oh.
Crap.
Yeah. Watered milk.
And we'd had powdered milk for a year, and the captain do it, and he allowed he didn't allow, he ordered the guy to say, all hands stand up to the quarterdeck for milk.
Oh, I bet that was good, real milk.
And I guess we all drank
They were all radioactive.
a quart of milk. We didn't even know what fresh milk tasted like. It was quite an experience.
Yeah.
It's something you'll go to your grave and never forget.
Yeah.
I could tell the same story in 10 years and it would be exactly the same, because you don't forget something like that. Just think, on the darkest night, and everything, every direction you look is brilliant.
Wow.
Everywhere you look. And it stays that way for 3 or 4 seconds, and then it begins to fade. And it was.
Could you see the cloud, like the mushroom cloud in the distance? Like, could you see the cloud?
No, we were 180 miles away.
Right, but I didn't know if...
See, the horizon on board our ship, the horizon was about 28 miles away. And beyond 28 miles, the curvature of the earth wouldn't allow you to see anything but sky. And so we could see from our ship to the horizon, but beyond 28 miles, the earth curved and you couldn't see. But we were 180 miles away.
Wow.
Nautical miles, which is a little longer than the regular mile. And
wow.
Oh man.
Cool. All right, say bye for this one.
Goodbye for this one. That's all.